Hi Ramya, welcome to Growth Circle. Super excited to have you here. Last few days, I've been following your journey as a leader, as an entrepreneur, as a mom of two, and it's super inspiring. And for this month, Growth Circle, we are featuring inspiring stories of mothers and would love to hear about your career journey, leadership, and motherhood journey as well. Looking forward. Ramya, can you share a quick intro about yourself?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, first of all, Sindhu, for hosting me, part of this wonderful platform, Growth Circle, where you're sharing stories about inspiring women. It's really great for me to be part of this platform. Okay. So, about me, I'm Ramya. I'm from a very small town called Gobichittipalayam near Coimbatore in Tamil Nadu. Okay. I've been highly aspirational from my early childhood days because I'm coming from a society where I didn't have anything much what I aspired to have, right? So from that time, innocent, ignorant child onwards, looking back, it's definitely I feel so proud. I have experience of about 2 decades in IT corporate journey, Sindhu, and I'm a mother of two preteens. I have 13 and 11 years old daughter. And I was an entrepreneur for a while, for about 4 years, and it didn't work out for me. And again, I joined back IT corporate. I'm an author. I wrote two self development books about women, about leadership, about passion. So that's about both of my books, and it's available in Amazon. And on my tech journey, I have worked both at the services, major service providers, uh, to name a few: Cognizant, Brilliance, LTI, Hexaware, and at the captive side, Citibank and Honeywell. So I think I got a chance to try sitting both the sides of the table and see how this is working out, right? So that actually interests me. And here I am settled in Bangalore. Yeah, so I'm really glad to be part of this session. That's quickly about me.
Awesome. Thanks, Ramya. I think very inspiring, and I would love to double click on your career philosophy, Ramya. What is your source of inspiration, and how do you make these different decisions? Like, be it like moving from one organization to other, or your entrepreneurial journey, or writing books, or anything, right? Like anything related to career. How do you What's your source of inspiration, and how do you make these decisions?
So for me, honestly, the core backbone inspiration I would say is the frugal lifestyle, or I didn't got what does it require as a child, right? So I always longed for a new school bag, new school. I mean, a lot of small things, but I think I never had what I wanted. Okay, so maybe that put me into such a aspirational. It made me become very aspirational from my early childhood, that this is not the life I wanted to live, or this is not the life I can gift to my next generation, right? I don't know. I think I became little conscious about how am my next phases of my journey in my life is going to be. As an innocent child, I started dreaming, and I was not ready to accept the status quo and live with it, Sindhu. So I think the backbone is I had such a humble, frugal lifestyle childhood. That's the source of inspiration for me. And for me, always in my earlier time, it was always financial freedom, financial independence, because I didn't had anything, right? So unfortunately now I realize that is I think as a person I've changed. My belief system changed. Now I can definitely, the definition of success is very different, but earlier days I think success is always about getting that financial freedom, getting how soon I can get that independence, how do I get into live in a very I mean very big dream house, and how soon I can drive my own luxury car. So all these thoughts, I think that has been my core inspiration, honestly. But then after slowly coming as a very humble background, coming into a Tier 1 city, I think I became a very curious learner, Sindhu, right? Because it's very tough to adapt to from a village societal thoughts, because we had our own belief system with very tough glass ceilings under which we were brought up, right? So it was definitely tough for me to come down to a tier one city and live here. Again, I good thing about me was I always had the mindset of, okay, let me learn. So I was always looking for opportunities to learn from. If I, even if I am interacting with my own neighbors, to people at my office, I started always looking, what can I learn from every conversation? What can I learn from this individual, right? So that actually is my core strength. I think that has pushed me comfortably to navigate different things and learn a lot of things. So that's something which I think that's my core story in Sindhu.
Amazing. So, like the other day, also we were talking about financial literacy, the session that we attended, right? Like as women, like a lot of times you're not thinking about these things, but for you in the initial career, it looks like you wanted to gain that financial freedom. And over the period, once you started gaining that, learning and like really growing is what enabled you to pursue this leadership path, right, Ramya?
Absolutely. So one thing what I missed out is, see, my ambition was like to get that financial freedom, but I had a lot of debts to close, okay, for my father, and I had a lot of childhood dreams, right? So when I said I wanted to turn 40, I had a big checklist created, right? I wanted to ensure all those check boxes are ticked. So I was super conscious to putting the check box, okay, two dream houses, luxury cars, so many things on my list, okay? So I was super conscious because for me, there's no right or wrong. Okay. So I was on my own journey, and my rule book was very, very fixed, static. Okay. So whatever learnings I had, I was like, okay, whatever I wanted to do, let me do it. But after checking all my check boxes, my to do list has to be done. So after a while, I realized, thank God, I'm really grateful. Fortunately, I was able to put a tick mark for all of it. But because I was behind ensuring the to-do list was getting closed one after the other, I realized I could have been little more conscious. See, I when I planned for my second villa, I could have delayed it, right? I could have delayed. Instead, I could have done a proper savings instead of that, and that would have compounded, and I would have made much bigger wealth out of that, right? So I was not really ready to take up the new learnings, but my fixed to-do list was like very, very, very pushing me to go beyond it, right?
Ramya, maybe now let's talk a little bit about your early career. Like when you started your career, I think you've talked about it slightly, but would love to know when you started your career, what was your role like? Maybe which companies were you working in, and how was the experience like? Maybe before you became a mother, how was it like back then? What was the life in your career? What were your aspirations?
So now, when I look back, right? So when I passed out, it was a recession, and my campus offer what I had from the college, it was no more valid because it was the recession time, right? So it took me a week that I decided to become a lecturer because I had very big aspirations, right? I have to make money, and I have to close my debts. So many dreams I had to close out, right? So it was like I didn't know what to do because I know my offer is no more valid. It took me a week that I joined an engineering college nearby to my residence. It's called Banariamman Engineering College. I joined as a lecturer, okay, with the condition that I will teach only final year students because it will give me a chance to prepare myself to take up interviews in in the industry when it opens up, right? So 6 months, I was attending off-campus interviews, and that's when I landed up as a software trainee at Honeywell. Okay, so my first month stipend was 4,000 rupees, just 4,000 rupees. You heard it right. Okay, so when I look back now, I decided this is the way forward because it was not money that was helping me to take the decision. I felt getting in, and later I will be somehow able to figure it out, and I wanted to settle down in Bangalore. I don't know from where I figured out wanted to settle down in Bangalore, but from my child days, Bangalore was always my dream town to settle down. Okay, courage I had to quit my lecturer job, and that fortunately my lecturer job was getting me 8,000 rupees per month. Okay, so I was like, my parents were like, what's wrong with you? I was like, please let me decide it myself. Okay, so now I joined Honeywell finally as a software trainee for 4,000 rupees stipend. And then after about 7 months, I moved to Bangalore. So Honeywell had, I joined Honeywell Madurai as a trainee, and I got my first placement as an employee at Honeywell Bangalore. Okay. So it took me 8 months to get my first salary, a double digit number salary. Okay. With a double digit take home. So with that was really, really exciting moment. And there onwards, 5 years with Honeywell. Then I moved on to Logica. Now it is called CGI. And then I moved on to Cognizant. After Cognizant, then to Brilio. Again, after Brilio, then I took up, after Brilio is when I decided to start my entrepreneurship. That's called Elite Souls, my two firms, one at Bangalore and second in New Jersey, which is Elite Souls and QA Elite Souls. So these two entities I was managing. And then when I decided to move back, I joined Dow's Infosystems. Then again with LTI, Mindtree, Citibank, and then at Hexaware. So a bunch of service providers, majorly service providers, and then Citibank, multinational banking. So these are some of the corporates I was working, Sindhu, right from Honeywell to Hexaware. I think maybe around 10 plus companies. But actually, I was always looking for what can I learn something new? What is this new role? What kind of new challenges will? So I was more focused on what kind of a new experience, what new learnings I would have. That curiosity actually that pushed me to try out. And another thing when I look back is at one point I was not really ready to understand the corporate politics, and I was too ignorant to how to handle the corporate politics, and I will be like, okay, this is not my game, let me move out, right? But when I look back, I could see I could have definitely handled it much better. But yeah, it's long story short, but yeah, I was very curious to move out, explore different roles, different organizations, different culture. I think that actually pushed me to try out a lot of things.
Amazing. Oh, that's super inspiring. You taking the leap of faith so many times. I'd love to know about your entrepreneurial journey now. And when did it start? Was it like before you became a mom, after you became a mom? Like, what was the thought process? Because, like starting something is again a big risk, right? Like, how did you take the leap of faith? Were you a sole entrepreneur, or you had yeah, maybe explain about that journey and your learnings.
Okay. So before motherhood, I was like 100% of my focus was always career, right? I always had the freedom. Honeywell, I think they allow a yearly booking, Sindhu, if I'm not wrong. Every 10 p.m. we have to book a cab. Advance booking is required, okay? So I remember I made a yearly booking or at least a half early booking. Every single day I will be till office till 10 p.m. and I will take an office cab to drop me at the PG. I used to stay in the PG during my early days, okay? Yeah. So that was Ramya, okay? Very, very aspirational. She was like on toes all the time, and all my bosses will be, hey, this is very tough. Let me give it to Ramya. That is how it will be, okay? And I was ready to learn. I mean, that curiosity pushed me to accept that challenging requirement, and I just went on. That was old Ramya, okay? So now after childhood, it was actually a big shift, I would say. It was always 100% career. For me, when my first daughter was born, it was 25%. I had to take it out from my focus and give it to her. Fortunately, because nuclear family, right? I was actually super greedy with respect to my career, because I was like, I cannot afford to spend 3 years for my elder one, second plan for my second one, another second 3 years. So I was like, what if I could plan my second cycle very soon? And 2013, again, I had my second daughter. So it was like 1.5 years age gap. I had my second delivery as well. Okay. So that's how it was. And it was primarily because I was not really ready to lose 6 years of my life just because I have to take care of my kids. Right. So I was super quick in planning the two deliveries one after the other very soon, and actually I landed up. I was not taking a calculative risk. What I have taken was way wrong, because it became super tough for me to handle both the daughters on my lap, and I was a single mom with my spouse and me taking care of 2 kids without much support. It was really a very big struggle. Okay, so at one point, and in fact, I'm a super aspirational person, right? So I worked for both the deliveries till 9th month, and I was driving 25 kilometers from my home to office till 9th month for both my deliveries. I was like, after the delivery, I joined back, but then my younger was 2 years old. Then again, both my daughters got hospitalized. It was too much for me to take that. Okay, so the fort of resilience started slowly coming down, because there were some moments which were like very tough for me to manage as a mother, because with household, I couldn't really delegate a lot more things, and I have to really spend a lot of time, which couldn't really be possible for my role that I was playing. I was at that time I was working at Brilio. I was performance center of excellence head at that time. Okay, so it was easy for me to switch to a part-time role for a few months until the organization finds a replacement for me. And then I said I have to take a break because it was too much for me to manage. And there were a lot of health issues coming, and I was literally struggling to manage during that time frame, right? 2015, 2016, that was the time. So this is how my career before and after kids started. A lot of I think turbulence started, and that turbulence actually pushed me to quit when things really went out of control. And I quit in 2016. Okay, April 2016. So I was wondering what to do, and some of my checkboxes are still open. I was like more bothered about, and again in my to-do list, 2 kids were there in my checklist. Okay, so I was so happy to put a tick mark for 2 kids, but still my financial goals were not met. At that time, I was having only one car. My villa was not booked by then, so a lot of to-do lists were open. I was like, my God, I was too hard on myself. I said, what shall I do? I cannot work because my elder one was 4 years and my younger one was 2.5. So then I became an accidental entrepreneur just because I have to manage my children. So I think by entrepreneurship, my inspiration is like I have to become a good mom. At the same time, ensure my to-do lists are checked. So the only option I had was to become an entrepreneur because I cannot travel to office. I cannot afford to come back, taking 1 hour on the road, all that because both my kids were finding it very difficult with though the helper ecosystem was good, there were a lot of challenges. In spite of having CCTV all around my hall, bedrooms, my entire room is full of CCTV, okay? So I had a lot of plans. I had an independent caretaker, cook, maid, all of it, but still there were a lot of problems. So that time, 2016, I decided to quit. Again, I felt, I think that mom's guilt would actually started killing me. Then I felt, okay, let me take a pause and I finally decided, got the courage to quit. But it took me 1 month, exactly 1 month, my Allied Souls Corporation, LLP, was registered. It was just 1 month when people around me called me, I'm really crazy. I needed a psychiatric treatment. I was like super clear, no, I'm very clear. So I have to run my own startup because I have my to-do list to be closed. Right? It was very simple for me, right? So that's when I landed up becoming an accidental entrepreneur, Sindhu. So the whole inspiration for me was the to-do list, what I had created during my early childhood days. And my kids actually pushed me to become an entrepreneur because certain unfortunate things actually comes to you to teach you something, right? So that's how I looked at it. So I think the struggle I had, particularly because of my second delivery and with the health issues, all that, maybe universe wanted me to take me into a different path. Maybe something was awaiting there, which universe wanted me to taste it, to reduce my curiosity level. Okay, so that's how I became an entrepreneur.
Wow, very inspiring, Ramya. I think I want to double click on that. Just entrepreneurial leap was amazing. Like after a month, you decided from taking a break, you decided that you want to like go for it, like go and chase your dreams, like fulfill your checklist, and you took a leap into entrepreneurship. How did that journey go? How was your experience over the next few months or years with the entrepreneur experience?
I'm going to give a very honest share, Sindhu, okay? The first few months have been highly daunting experience, honestly, because I had the courage to start, but I was like wondering, what should I do? I had a very limited time and it's not fixed also, right? I had 2 kids, right? So now when one is like, she will ensure I'm awake the entire night. The other one troubles me during the day. And it was like very tough for me. What is my working hours itself was like a big trouble. So then it was like, I have to figure it out, come up with a rule book. How do I work? All that. Then finally, I figured out a schedule. Usually, I had three hours max sleep during those days because my younger one, she had habituated to. I have to keep moving the cradle. I have to put her in cradle, and I have to keep moving it. If I stop, she will start crying. Okay, so because of that problem, I hardly sleep for maximum 4 hours, not beyond that for sure. Okay, so then I realized the night is the best time because my elder one is super good. The moment 9 o'clock till 9 p.m. to 7 a.m. absolute silence. She will be complete off in a sleepy mood. Okay, so then I figured out night time is the best time for me because no disturbance. I can keep moving her cradle and I can start working all of that. And I had my own small automation to move the cradle and I parallelly work. Okay. So all this enabled me to figure out, okay, this is how I should work. It took me 3 months to figure that out itself. It was honestly very tough to start from zero, right? By the time I think I quit, I was already in 20 plus LPA kind of a thing. I don't remember. Yeah, it should be definitely beyond that because that was my first, second, fourth company. So I was a center of excellence leader at Brilliance. So it was definitely it was 20 plus LPA, something in that range, right? From that onwards, again, coming back to zero from starting, it was like actually gave me a lot of insecurity because my to-do lists are open. Again, I have come back to zero. Whether if will I go back and join? So many self-doubt running always. But then I decided, okay, I have to go through a lot of personal struggle. My delivery was a big pain, I said, right? And in fact, honestly, it was like I wasn't even sure whether I will be back. Okay. So it was that major complication. So that I used as a power bank. If I have to make it happen and I have to come back, then I think universe have planned something for me. Let me try it out, is what I started telling that to myself. Okay. So honestly, I was going through a very tough phase because I was back to zero. But this is the one thought which changed me maybe at around fourth or fifth month after I started. I said, okay, there is something there waiting for me, else universe would not have planned me to get into this. All of a sudden, it was like I was trying to build a fort. I was about to close all my checklist, and why should it happen, right? And I was super upset at one time because I didn't know what to do. I was super upset. My parents could not help, my in-laws could not help. I was very angry on them. It took me a few months to get that maturity that okay, if something is happening, then it happens for a reason, right? To get that positive mindset, it took me really a lot of time. Then I started with, I had core expertise in performance testing. By then, I was a COE leader who started as a what is performance testing to good thing about me, Sindhu, when I started learning what is performance, that was the time no blogs, vlogs, and all there. Good thing is I started writing blogs from early days, 2003 or 4 onward. When I started writing. And that was the time I started attending a lot of conferences and presenting papers. Okay. So writing and speaking, it was a big strength for me. Again, the reason why I believed in it is coming from a village or a school, I was not good in communication, right? So when I got into my college, I didn't even had a confidence to speak in English in one single sentence with proper vocabulary or proper grammar. I was struggling. Okay. So that bad I was. So if I have to get a job in a tier one city, then I have to speak English. I mean, that is a bare minimum prerequisite, right? How do you work is a different problem. So I think during my college days, whether I learned computer engineering or not, I think I pushed me to learn how to speak in proper English. I think I tried doing that. So that actually gave me a plus. So I started writing and speaking a lot in conferences during that initial years. So that actually created a brand for me already. So when I created that entrepreneurship, the first 6 months went in all the struggle, self-doubt, then coming out of it, all this occupied the first 6 months. Then I started writing some online courses, and I hosted on Teachable platform. The online courses, that was the first time it was coming out. And I started giving courses. It's not instructor led because I don't have time, a definite time to go and take up a training because of my kids' schedules were totally different, right? So then I started recording and putting it on a Teachable platform. I never thought it will give me such a great response. I had 5,000 subscribers for my platform. I was like, wow. Then there was a moment where I have to present one of my paper. It was a national level competition where my paper was first. It came first, and I got an opportunity to fly down to US and present my paper as part of that selection. Okay. And that was my first self-funded US trip because before that it was all corporate funded, right? So I was like thinking, should I go and fund this? Where will I get money to fund this trip also? Okay. So then that was my first self-funded trip. Still, I didn't started making money, honestly. Okay. I had subscribers, but definitely the payment was in very low numbers, right? It was not even close to the package what I was earning before at Brilliant. So it was very small. And should I use this money to spend for my travel, booking accommodation and all? It was like super high. I was like, should I do it or not? My husband have been a very good constant source of support for me. I think without him, I would have been nowhere, right? So he was like, you go for it. I'll take care of the baby. And because of health reason only, I quit, right? So I was literally struggling whether it is a right decision to fly just because it is going to help me out. But yeah, I landed up at the airport. He dropped me. He came. And after getting down from the car, I was literally shivering. I mean, am I so crazy, selfish to take this wrong decision? And I was literally, I still remember that day, right? I mean, my hands were shivering. I couldn't take my trolley out and then step forward after hugging my child, because what am I doing? Why am I so selfish? And all those thoughts were really killing me, right? So then my husband said, no, it's just for a couple of days. You go and come back as though you are carrying everything on your shoulder. I'll take care of the baby, you go. So then I went there, I presented, and I became the first international awardee from CMG. It was a conference called Computer Measurement Group. And I won the title. It's called Bill Mullen International Award. And that is an international award. First time it was given to an Indian. So I
Wow,
flew down
amazing.
with that book.
Congratulations.
Uh, it was such a great moment. It is an unforgettable moment because those 2 days I was not really concentrating on my presentation. I was always bothered about how my younger one, because elder one, she will be very independent. She was able to manage. She was 4 years by then, right? My younger was not that way. So all those a couple of days I was spending always with that guilt. I don't know whether I did justice to the presentation, success. And I flew down with the award in hand and with my bouquet, and I gave it to my younger one. And she, with a lot of beautiful bouquet of rose flowers, she said, "What is this, Mama?" Okay, I still remember that day, right? And I have to explain her in her language what does that means. Okay, so what is that meant? Why I was out, and what does that mean? What is the she doesn't even understand first prize, second prize, all that, right? So I have to explain her what that moment meant to me. I was literally crying and explaining her what that meant to me, right? So that was my first success in my entrepreneurship journey. And within a couple of months, I had a contact who wanted to have a partnership with me from US, who met me there, and they wanted to partner, and they wanted to start up a new firm. And then since I had my own plans and by then slowly I started working here, so I don't want to merge these two entities. So I said, why don't we start one at New Jersey? And we registered with a co-founder. I became a co-founder and CTO. He was the partner was he was a co-founder and CEO of the organization. It's called QA Light Souls. We registered. And by my Bangalore entity, we were running independently. It was like after I went and came back, I signed 3 contracts. It was like one after the other, and I think I made my first million that month or the next month itself. Okay, so that onwards, it started. I think my third year I went in, and that was the first time my annual revenue crossed 1 crore INR. So that was really important for me because that is there in my to-do list. Annual revenue of crossing 1 crore was in my to-do list. I don't know, damn why do I create that list? But I was like, okay. So then I felt I think I should write a book. I don't know from where I got this, and that's when something triggered me to write this book. A journey in search of success is crossed and happiness is there.
Very
So
nice.
primarily because I was always thinking success is about financial independence, and that was the moment I realized that success is not finance. Finance can get you definitely a lot of materialistic possessions, but yeah, that happiness was not in that money what I earned, in that moment that created the passion what I was running, and when certain things happened, what happened to me as a person, then I realized the difference between success and happiness, and that's this book is all about. Okay, it was really going very well. I had customers, Europe, Middle East, APAC, North America, you name it. I think I had about across all different verticals. I had some 15 logos already from my third year onwards. Okay, so that's when I was waiting for the next twist. Then came the pandemic, COVID 2019. Okay, so how soon all my new contracts got signed at the same pace, all my contracts got getting cancelled. We never expected all this would happen, but yeah. And I was like juggling between my two organizations. I had about 10 plus courses already by then running. 10 plus online courses were there, but still I was struggling with my younger one, moving cradle, sleepless night. All this was continuing. 3 hours I was very, very hard on myself because I had all my to-do list still couple of things open, right? So I have been very, very hard on myself. That's the biggest mistake I did, right? I have never been so kind. I wish I could have been little more kind to me, but I was too hard because my to-do list was very, very static. It kept me moving towards my goals, okay? So then I had to lose some of my customers and I had a lot of uncertainty because wave after the wave. And I think second wave was very hard in India and a lot of changes around within our relatives, within our family. It actually started impacting my mindset also. It was very tough, right? I mean, honestly, and with my two small kids around, it was little, it made me anxious also. What if something wrong happens to me? Who will take care of them? Because by then all my maid ecosystem, everything helper ecosystem was shut down. I have to take care of everything, and it was very tough that time, right? So now a lot of things internally, externally happened, and then I came to a point. Then okay. I had an acquisition opportunity, and then I think thought through for a while. I have put my blood and soul into it to build it, but then I have to take a call. Let me give it off. It's okay. I'm just an accidental entrepreneur. Maybe universe wanted to get me something else, take me into a different route is what I tried to convince myself. Then I went with acquisition. Okay, so that's how the 4 years stint started as an accidental entrepreneur, but definitely made me financially very, very independent. Really, really proud that something pushed me to try it out. There is no regret that I just went with the with some courage in my heart, and it really helped me to step forward, leap forward.
I'm sure there are very few women tech leaders in the space that you're working in. So, how has been that journey, Ramya?
Actually, one good thing I did during that entrepreneurial phase, Sindhu, I was core hands-on architect, right? So I continued to do it. So two different deviations we have to take a see. When we are in a corporate, we have lot of resources, right? So we put, if we want to do a POC, we put a lot two resources. We got used to it, right? Because I was a COE head that time when I quit. So I was always handling bunch of people. I had lot of abundant resources, but when I started my own, only me to start with. Okay, maximum team size was only 10 people. That was the peakest of my 4 years. I had the 10-member team, and I was all registered, legal, with giving PF, all of it. But still, the maximum team size was only 10. Okay, so now I have to do anything and everything with a 10-member team. To do POC, the first day I will be speaking in a conference. Second day I will be speaking to a senior leadership team. Third day I will be doing a log analysis. It will be like you have to do anything and everything. There is no designation, no role, all of it, right? So that's why not everybody will be comfortable with this journey, right? Sometimes 1 week I'll be so upset. What am I doing? Why did I choose this path? The second week I'll be super excited because couple of deals would have signed by then. So it was like always a roller coaster ride, and you can't predict what is it yet to come on the next day, right? And you always have the security of the paychecks coming in. Here you don't know what's going to happen, right? So now, and I have to keep 40 lakhs. That was the biggest pain for me. I have to keep some capital ready for paying the salaries, irrespective of whether I get my invoices paid or not by the corporates, right? So all this I have to learn because I was not exposed to all of it, right? So having a running capital, paying the employee salary. But see, I had certain value system. I think I got it from my father. I think giving respect to the people, irrespective of designations, being very, very honest. So there are certain values I think I imbibed from him, right? So I did ensure my 29th or 30th day salary has to be credited, right? Whatever it happens, okay? So I still remember there was one moment where all my invoices were just got struck in a queue. I have to arrange a personal loan and then pay the employees, but I was trying to do anything and everything to make things work, right? One good thing I did was creating a personal brand for me, right? That writing and LinkedIn was not so popular that time. Okay, so blog again, handful of blogs. You don't see anything and everything. Everybody would have a blog spot at that time and all. It was not like that, right? So it was writing and learning what I did consciously. I think it helped me to build a brand for me, and at least people know by my name in performance testing in this industry. I think people India and internationally, at least people started knowing me by my name. Okay, so that was good thing. I was able to do it, and again, I never had a marketing team for my company, right? So I still feel proud of it. So people gave me projects primarily because of my LinkedIn brand or the brand I built for the company, and I never had a marketing team, honestly. So actually, the same way I landed up at the corporate back, primarily because I was headhunted. All the journey, all the move, it was all headhunted. I
Wow, very inspiring. I think personal branding is so important, and you doing that in a way subconsciously, right? I feel like you were passionate about writing and you started writing, and it really helped. So that's amazing, Ramya. Ramya, any final message to our viewers, especially moms, women entrepreneurs, or women leaders, or anyone who wants to like balance motherhood and pursue a career, or it's okay to even take a break, right? But I mean, whatever it is, based on your experience, like you said, it's not about success, it's about happiness. So what messages do you have for our viewers? Yeah.
So, see, honestly, I felt don't try to be a super perfectionist, right? I think that's what I did it, right? When I first of all, I think I don't even wanted to give an advice to somebody. I think I wanted to give an advice to my own self, 10 years, 15 years back, right? Why was I so hard on myself, right? I mean, if I look back, it's my own rule book pushed me to try all this, right? I had my own definition of success. My rule book was very, very hard. Nobody pressurized me, right? So I think all that pressure is all you are creating it, right? And nobody is sitting and judging you. You don't need to get validated by others. It's all like you are imagining a world that doesn't exist, and you are like so hard on yourself. Why do you want to do that is what I wish I should ask me. Okay, but overall, I think let's not try to be a perfectionist, and we don't need to be good in everything and anything, right? I have to be a good wife, mother, a leader, whatnot, right? And I think that actually pushes us to get into this mode of mom's guilt. We feel it, and see, of course, all of it is required in life. The definition of success is ensure you're able to balance out and you're happy. Your happiness is what is important, right? I mean, has it be very, very conscious when you are defining what is success for you, and you be the architect, you be the owner of that definition of success. What is the definition of success for you will never be the same for me, right? So individually, let us write the definition of success, because our environment is very different from others around, right? So never ever don't compare our life, our definition with others. That is number one for sure. Number two, don't try to overthink over hard on yourself. And primarily when you are juggling with the small children, I think up till that 5 to 7 years, it is going to be very, very hard. Who said managing a leadership role with the small kids at home? Who said it is easy cakewalk here? If that is the case, everybody would have navigated, right? I think there is something universe is giving us. Take best use of that, and you don't try to overkill yourself that trying to be perfect in everything. Some days my home is such a dirty place and people will laugh at me. Is this a house? I said it's okay, it's fine, it's not a museum, it's my own home. Every phase in life you are behind something, right? So there is a phase you will run behind money, there is a phase will come you will run behind getting a good relationship, then children, then you need some peace of mind to reflect on your having a proper me time. So I think every phase our priorities changes, our important I mean the importance what we give to certain things will totally change, right? And you as a person, you are evolving. So understand that and adapt to that environment, and please be self aware, right? See, for me a leadership, for me it's very, very simple, Sindhu, right? I mean, be it a software trainee or the roles what I'm playing now as a vice president, I think only one big difference is I was not self-aware earlier, but now I'm really very good. The self-awareness level has really gone high. So if you know about yourself, if your self-awareness level is very good, I think you get that maturity to lead others. That internal reflection and your self-awareness is the importance that you have to call yourself as a leader. It's not the designation that is going to tell you are a leader. It's about how soon you get that maturity, how soon you understand what are your signals. I think universe keeps giving that signal, and you should have the maturity to understand what is that it's signaling, right? And what is your core strength. Have the courage to try out different paths. I think that is what this leadership is about. It's never about a very high, hefty paycheck or designation. It is about how courageous you are, what a person you grow, and uh, how do I say, how comfortable are you to try out different things. That is success. It's not finance alone, which I was thinking earlier. But yeah, and I'm so glad when I look back, when I touched 40, and in my early 40s, when I touched 40, in my checklist, again, my damn checklist had before turning 40, I should finish this. I don't know why. So my second book was also that way. So I finished my two books. My all my checklist got 100% filled, and I just said, Baba, and I just closed it. So then I decided to live a new life. I started doing things which just gives me happiness, and I do something called ERRC, which is called relooking every single day. E stands for eliminate. Second R is for reduce. Third R is for rise. C is for create. I try to eliminate things which I can delegate every single day. I have created a very good ecosystem professionally, personally. Reduce whichever things which is draining my energy. I will ensure I start reducing the time I spent on it. Third is rise. For example, quality time with kids and a lot of things. Spouse, again, it always goes unattended sometimes. So I keep rising certain things which are important, and create. I think I started recently, for the last 1 year, I started reading books every single day at 5 a.m., right? So I ensure I block this time, because I cannot afford to spend time reading books after my day starts, right? So every single day, 5 to 6, it's my me time reading books. So I do that. So ERRC, every single day I apply, optimize my day, and I feel really happy, successful. That's how I think I'm growing as a person. It's a journey, right? I think success is not a destination. I feel really successful. I'm really grateful, actually, because I had a lot of failures, but every time I failed, I think I had some power within me that pushed me to rise back, right? So I think more than to call me as a failure or success, I think I'm a warrior, right? So for a warrior, it's not about whether succeeding or failing. It's about rising every time from the struggle. I think being a warrior actually gives me a lot of confidence, and I'm really proud. So that's about me.
Wow, amazing. Thank you so much, Ramya. I think it's been an absolute pleasure and super, super motivating. The things that you've said, I am going to take away a lot of those things. So thanks once again.